Okay, so this time what we're going to discuss is about work measurement. When we say work measurement, it is an estimating the quantity of human effort required to produce a unit of defined output from an operation. So work standard refers to the average amount of time it takes a well-trained employees working under standard conditions to generate one unit of output. So work standards are utilized by operations managers for assigning work to employees, scheduling work in departments, and assessing employee performance. So managers utilize a variety of approaches to determine job standards. So in this discussion, we could able to examine time studies, standard data, specified motion times, job sampling, historical analysis, and employee self-timing. So time study is tracking the time required by a worker to complete a task, factoring in any necessary allowances, and then determining the overall time necessary to complete the task. Of course, to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Maria Amiela Abdala, and for this afternoon, we will be tackling about work measurement. So for today's agenda, we will be discussing the definition of work measurement, the objectives of work measurement, what are the commonly used methods for work measurement, what is job design, the major issues of job design, and ergonomic and work environment issues, and lastly, the normal and standard time. So, a work in an organization is dependence in human effort. For an employee to work productively, there should be a quality of work life wherein employees can enhance their personal lives through their work and environment. So, the quality of work life can be a major factor in maintaining a productive workforce. A conducive working condition must also be present. So, the work rendered by an employee is paid through a just compensation. However, for an organization to be able to retain an employee, an appropriate working environment and workload must be provided. So, working condition in which an individual or staff works, including but not limited to such things as amenities, physical environment, stress, noise levels, degree of safety or danger, and the like. A worker is important, but how will an organization be able to attract them? As I've said earlier, it is by giving them a just compensation and a conducive working environment and a job design that fits the worker, or we put them in the right place or in their field of specialization. So work measurement. Work measurement is concerned with the determination of the length of time it should take to complete a job. It is important in promoting productivity of an organization as it enables management to enable alternate methods and also to do initial staffing. So work measurement is absolutely essential for both planning and control of operations. So without measurement data, we cannot determine the capacity of facilities, or it is not possible to quote delivery dates or costs. We are not in a position to determine the rate of production and also labor utilization and efficiency. So it may not be possible to introduce incentive schemes and standard costs for budget control. So attempts to measure work and to establish work standards have always resulted in reactions, promoted criticisms, and generally have been the topic of considerable controversy among the managements and the workforce or the workers. So it gives the feeling to the workers that standards may result in more effective control, and they may be required to do hard work for lesser wages. So management feels that the use of standards may lead workers to work hard, which may result in higher wage bills. So work measurement is the application of techniques designed to establish the time for a qualified worker to carry out a specific job at a defined level of performance. So a standard time, on the other hand, this is how long it should take a qualified operator using the appropriate process, material, and equipment, and working at a sustained pace to do a particular job. So standard time are used for product costing, process and material evaluations, and for planning workloads and staffing. So let's now go to the objectives of work measurement. So the use of work measurement as a basis for incentive is only a small part of its total application. The objectives of work measurements are to provide a sound basis for manpower planning. So work measurement data is used for manpower planning. This is because it gives information about the total hours required to um, perform the job. So this helps to estimate the number of type of employees who are required to do the job. So it also ensures that there will be no excess staff. So work measurement data also helps to estimate the number of machines and equipment that will be required in the future. This helps to find out the number of employees who will be required to handle these machines and equipment. Second is for production planning and scheduling. This is because this data is used for making production standards. So this data is also used for scheduling. Scheduling means to fix starting and finishing time for each job. So this cannot be done without work measurement data. Third is for estimating production cost. It gives management accurate data about production time. This data helps to estimate the labor cost. And second, indirect costs such as fuel and manpower consumption, rents and salaries of staff, and etc. also depends on the production time factor. Then fourth, we have cost reduction and control. So it helps to reduce the labor cost. This is because it provides a guideline to the employees to work efficiently and effectively. So this helps to make um, optimum use of the available manpower. So the labor cost will be reduced. Work measurement data helps to reduce material costs. It also helps to increase machine productivity. So all this mentioned helps to produce and control production cost. Fifth, we have rational basis for incentives. Work measurement data is used for making incentive schemes for the employees. And incentive schemes motivate employees to work hard, and the efficient employees are rewarded by giving them a higher wage rate. So work measurement fixes the standard time for doing the work. So those who complete their work within the standard time or faster than the standard time are rewarded with higher wages. So this actually encourages all employees to work fast and, of course, efficiently. Six, we have performance appraisal. Performance appraisals are done to find out whether the employees are efficient or not. It is done to find strengths and weaknesses of each employee. So work measurement helps to do performance appraisals. This is because it fixes the standard output and standard time for each employee. So the employees who produce the standard output within the standard time are efficient, and vice versa. Thus, it also helps to find out the strengths and again weaknesses of the employees. Seven, training of employees. Training, a work measurement helps to train the employees, especially the newly hired ones. So it divides the full job into small elements or into parts. So it gives complete details about each element of the job. It gives details about how to do each element, the time taken for each element, the machines, even the tools involved in each element, and etc. So these details are used for training the employees. Then eight, for comparing alternative methods. So there are many methods for doing a job. Work measurement data helps to choose the best method for doing such job. Then nine, accepting new orders. Work measurement data tells us when will each job be completed. So it helps the company to decide whether to accept new orders or not. In other words, it helps to find out whether the new order will be completed within a specific time limit. Then lastly, is fixing the selling cost. So work measurement data also helps to fix the selling cost of a product. This is because it estimates the cost of production, especially the labor cost. So selling cost is decided after fixing the estimated production cost. So we also have the commonly used methods for work measurement. So we have stopwatch time study, predetermined data, work sampling, analytical sampling, synthesis method, and historical data method. So let's discuss the most commonly used. First, we have the stopwatch time study. So a work measurement technique for recording the times and rates for working for the elements of a specific or a specified job carried out under specified conditions, and for analyzing the data so as to determine the time necessary for carrying out the job at the definite level of performance. So in other words, measuring the time through stopwatch is called the time study. Second is the predetermined data. So a work measurement technique, this is a work measurement technique whereby times established by for basic human motions, which is classified according to the nature of the motion and conditions under which it is made, are actually used to build up the time for a job at a definite level of performance. So the most commonly used PMPS is known as methods time measurement, or the MTM. Then next we have work sampling. So this is a technique in which a large number of observations are made over a period of time of one or group of machines, processes, or even workers. So each observation records what is happening at that instant, and the percentage of observations recorded for a particular activity or delay is actually measured by the percentage of time during which the activity delay occurs. Then lastly, we have analytical testing. So this is a work measurement technique being a development of estimating. So the time required to carry out elements of a job at a defined level of performance is estimated partly from knowledge and practical experience of the elements that's concerned, and partly from synthetic data. So the work measurement techniques and other applications are um, the ones I have mentioned earlier. Next, let's tackle what job design is. So job design is a logical sequence of the process of job analysis and involves conscious efforts to organize tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work so as to business objectives. So creating a job design is the succeeding step to do job analysis. So as you know, job analysis, it provides information about the skills and the competency required to perform a job efficiently. Conversely, job design strives at organizing tasks, duties, and responsibilities associated with a job to achieve organizational as well as individual objectives. So, the HR managers have realized that the job design has considerable influence on the productivity and job satisfaction. So, poorly designed jobs often results in boredom, increased employee turnover, job dissatisfaction, low productivity, and increase in overall cost of the organization. Thus, job design is an attempt to create a match between the job requirements and the available human resource attributes. So, the job design is the process of organizing work into the task that's required to perform a specific job. So it involves the conscious efforts to organize tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work to achieve certain objectives. So technically speaking, when we say job design, it attempts to integrate work content like those of tasks, functions, relationships with that of all the skills that is a requirement and applicable for each job to meet the needs of the employees and also of the organization as a whole. So what are the goals of job design? First is facilitating the interest of employees towards the job and enhancing their satisfaction. Second, increasing employee motivation and productivity. Third is enhancing employee skills by identifying their training needs. And fourth is covering the modern needs of employee participation. So just to add, it also ensures safer working environment, making the communication process clear and effective in the organization. It also improves the quality of life of employees and of course eliminate the unnecessary levels of supervision, checking, and control. Also, job design tackles or um, have major issues. So let us discuss this one by one and I will be giving you um, points to remember. All right. So first we have telecommuting work from home. So telecommuting or work from home is considered as the best alternative of working from the actual office. So the concept of virtual office is gaining more popularity, especially today, because of the ease and convenience associated with it. So by using um, computer networks, telephones, and internet connections, employees can communicate and perform the job from home. It actually eliminates the needs of coming to office every day and offers employees the convenience to work at the effort of their home. So though there are lots of advantages associated with this working style, it suffers from many limitations. It allows employees to stay at home and manage their job tasks and functions without actually being present in the office, but it doesn't allow them to communicate with other employees and establish relationship with them. They only deal with machines the whole day, thus they lose creativity. Moreover, it is a great hindrance in their way as it does not allow skill upgradation. Next is job sharing. All right. Job sharing is the most preferable alternative of traditional working styles where two or more individuals share the responsibilities of a full-time job. So they divide the tasks, responsibilities, and compensation according to their mutual consent. So this option is generally used by women who are on maternity leave or have family and kids to look after, but still want to continue their job. So these days, organizations are open to this kind of working style where two or more individuals can share job. Next is the flexi working hours. So these days, organizations allow their employees to work according to the timings that suit them best. There are 3 to 4 working schedules, and individuals can choose any one of them depending on their availability. So employees here can work in early hours as well as night hours. This is actually good for those individuals who have college or some other engagement during the day or specific hours of the day. So the best part is that unlike telecommuting, flexi timings, this give them chance to communicate with other employees too. Next is alternative work pattern. So um, though the concept is not that common here in the Philippines, but we can see this in the European and American world of work. So they also have the option of working 2 to 3 full days and can relax after that. So according to the latest concept, employees can work for fixed number of hours and then can attend to their personal needs during the less days. Next, we have techno stress. Techno stress is a stress caused by new and advancing technologies in the workplace, mostly by information technology. So, for example, the widespread use of electronic bulletin boards as forums for rumors of layoffs may cause feeling of uncertainty and anxiety. However, the same boards can be an important source of information for workers. So the advanced information technologies enable the organizations to monitor employee performance even when the worker is not aware of such arrangement. So these new technologies also allow organizations to tie pay to performance because performance is electronically monitored. Then lastly, we have task revision. So task revision is actually a new concept in the design of work. So task revision, this is an innovative way to modify an incorrectly specified role or job. So the task revision assumes that organizational roles and job expectations may have been correctly or incorrectly defined. Where the role is correctly defined, behavior of the employee fits the role and performance tends to be high. So performance suffers because of deviant behaviors which results from incorrectly defined jobs. So task revision helps correct such incorrectly defined jobs. So let's go now to see what ergonomic and work environmental issues are. So ergonomics can roughly be defined as the study of people in their working environment. More specifically, an ergonomist it's pronounced like an economist designs or modifies the work to fit the worker discomfort and risk of injury due to work. And in other words, the employee is our first priority in analyzing a workstation. All right, so ergonomics or human factors is the scientific discipline concerned with the understanding of the interactions among human and other elements of the system. And of course, the profession that applies theory, principles, data, and methods to design in order to optimize human well-being and overall system performance. So if you continue to carry on your uncomfortable office setup at home or even at office, you might be closer to experiencing work-related health issues. So this is not something to take lightly. It might be fun and relaxing to work on a living room floor or maybe while laying on your bed, but despite that comfort, you might be doing more harm than good. So you are usually confined to a single position for a long time. It even leads to you being often confronted with painful or unpleasant ergonomic problems. So any of these are caused by bad posture, insufficient facilities, and poorly built workspace, and so on. So whatever the explanation, ergonomic issues can never be overlooked because they can have a long-term consequences for the workers who deal with them. So how do you spot these problems and what do you do about them? So um, failure to operate in a neutral position to support good posture. So when we operate in a neutral role, our bodies perform best. The neutral position is simply a relaxing position in which all of our joints are aligned. And when you function in neutral, your muscles, tendons, and skeletal system are under less tension. So what can you do to mitigate this? So you make an L shape with your body. So you want to keep the body length and aligned to run in neutral. So you do this by performing an L shape with your body. Proper alignment comes from the proper spine elongation. So you can do this through these 4 steps. So first, maintain a straight line between your shoulders and your head, with no tilting forward or backward or to the left. Next is your hips should be slightly higher than your knees, creating a 110-degree angle. So this will relieve the strain on your bones. And to help your upper body, you bend your knees at a 90-degree angle. So when seated, your knees should be 2 to 3 inches away from the front of your chair. So you also make sure your feet are flat on the concrete. So if your chair is too high, try adjusting it lower. And if your shoes aren't flexible, you put your feet on a flat stone. So next, you keep on doing repetitive motions. So how can you prevent this, or what can you do about this? So every hour we switch tasks. So when it becomes to avoiding repetitive motion injuries, a good guideline to follow is to move activities regularly so that you're using a different muscle group at the end of each hour. So this will allow your muscles to heal while you continue to function. So staff can also make use of any ergonomic resources that are available to them. So it can be the adjustable seats, monitor stands, yung mga headphones. There are only few of those available items. And of course, they are quickly incorporated into the workplace. Next is you do not keep an eye on your positioning. So what can we do with this? So keep a close eye on what you're working on. So it is important to keep whatever you're working on close to you to avoid uncomfortable position. So try to keep um, anything within arm's reach in particular. So since you won't have to reach, twist, or bend to get to your job, your body will be closer to neutral. So if you're working on a fixed object that can be pushed closer to you, you keep an eye on your location and acknowledge any discomfort that arise. Fourth is you remain stationary for long hours in the same place. So researchers says that workers' chances of developing musculoskeletal injury increases when the body is in stagnant condition for an extended time. So what can we do with this? If you can and you are willing, for every 30 minutes, you try to get up. According to studies, a person should get up and walk after 30 minutes of sitting. So doing this is not only lowering the risk of muscle injury, but also lowers the risk of early mortalities. So you try to walk around and do some um, household chores if you were at home or working at home. So every time you drink water, you get up and stretch. And if you want a snack after accomplishing a task, walk or jog to and from your fridge. Then lastly, you do not take a break from your screen. So you might find that your vision starts to blur or that you start getting headaches regularly. So visual fatigue is most likely the cause of this symptom. So if you spend a significant portion of your day looking at screens, it occurs more often in people who use multiple monitors. So you do the 20-20-20 method to get your eyes off the screen. So this is where you stare at something that is 20 feet away for 20 seconds and you do it again after 20 minutes. All right, so ergonomics should have a part in your home or office setup. So if you are overwhelmed and lost as to what you should do first to apply ergonomics in your experience, um, there are many um, that you can actually look for to avoid these issues. Then lastly, let's discuss what is normal and standard time. So every industry carries out the process of work measurement. So the work measurement, this is the process of calculating the time that a person would take while performing a task with respect to different levels of performance. So the normal time, also called as the base time, is or the level time, this is the time that a trained worker needs to complete the task at a normal phase. So the standard time is that term more often used in the industrial engineering for the purpose of work measurement. So the formula used in calculations of standard time is equal to normal time all over the quantity 1 plus AF. So this is the case 1. So we use the case 1 when allowance in given as a fraction of the normal time, and usually this is stated in the problem as the allowance is added in the normal time, or we use this formula. Standard time is equal to normal time multiplied by the quantity 1 minus AF, where AF is the allowance factor. So this case 2, we use this when allowance is given as a fraction of the total workday, and usually used when production time is not known. Then next we have the normal time. So the normal time, this is the strictest follower of schedule. So the formula used in the calculation of normal time is equal to um, observed time multiplied by the rating factor all over 100. So let's have this example. So in the problem, it states a restaurant conducted a time study for a job assembling ham and cheese sandwiches. There were 10 cycles in the job, and the average time was recorded to be 0.385 minutes. Determine the standard time of the assembly if the operator is rated at 80% and the allowance factor is at 12%. So again, the given is observed time is 0.385 minutes, the rating factor is 80%, and the allowance factor is 12%. So for the normal time, we will write the formula where your observed time is multiplied to the rating factor over 100. So 0.385 multiplied by 80 over 100 will give us 0.308 minutes. So for the, we should always divide the rating factor by 100 if the rating factor is expressed in percentage. So next is to solve for the standard time. So again, the formula requires case 1 since the mode of use of the allowance factor is not said. So for this we follow case 1 where normal time is multiplied by 1 plus the allowance factor. So this will give us 0.308, which we obtain from this, multiplied by 1 plus 0.12, which is the allowance factor, and this will give us a standard time of 0.345 minutes. So again, the normal time is 0.308 minutes, and the standard time that we calculated is 0.345. All right, so for the key takeaways, work measurement helps to uncover non-standardization that exists in the workplace and um, non-value adding activities and waste. So the work has to be measured for the following reasons. First, to discover and eliminate cost or ineffective time. And lastly, to establish standard time for performance measurement. So that ends my part. Thank you for listening and have a great day ahead.
Okay, so thank you very much, Madam, for your presentation. Of course, managers utilize a variety of methods to establish work standard. No, we covered, as I mentioned earlier, the time study, standard data, specified mobility times, no, work sampling, historical analysis, and employee self-timing in the discussions based on our presenter. And managers do not need to establish new criteria for this repetitive job. They can simply consult the database, no? Because the predetermined motion time study is a method of establishing work standard that utilizes the recorded standard time data of each of the fundamental motions like reach, grasp, move, turn, stretch, and others. Now, associated with performing a task, determine the time required to complete the task as a whole. And due to the fact that operating conditions differ from company to company and work to job, no, or work to work, adjustment are made to this data. And work sampling is a technique for assessing the work by taking a random sample of observation. And historical analysis is non-scientific method for establishing standards from prior data. And self-timing by employees is another method for establishing standard. In this strategy, the staff record that amount of time spent on each task. No, this method is typically used to establish standards for white-collar employers. And managers utilize work standard to evaluate employee performance and make choices on salary and benefits. So I think that's it.